Hello everyone, my name is Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. I know that recently I've gotten quite a few new subscribers, so welcome to all of you and welcome to Vlogmas week 5. This is going to be my very last vlog for Vlogmas, and I probably won't be vlogging for a while because vlogging for every day and doing these weekly vlogs for an entire month, it has been a lot of work. It's been fun, but just a lot of work at the same time. So I think I'm definitely going to take a break in January from vlogging, but there will be a lot of other content in January, so don't you worry. But first things first, you may be able to see I have some things to unbox. Pretty much all of my Amazon orders came in today, so there's quite a few things to show you. Basically, this is part retail therapy because, you know, self-care is important. It's also part birthday and Christmas presents to myself. In case you didn't know, my birthday was December 14th. So yeah, I just bought a lot of books and made excuses for it basically. So let's just show you what I got before we get to the first reading update for this vlog. But first thing that I got is an Echo Dot. This is in the Twilight Blue color. I have one of these in my bedroom, but I wanted to get one for the living area in this house, just because I do spend a lot of time in this room, and I have found that I actually use my Echo Dot quite a bit when I'm in my bedroom. So yeah, I just wanted one in another area of the house basically. So let's get to the first box of books. Here we go. I am so excited. Oh man, some of these came kind of damaged. I might have to return them because honestly, that is unacceptable. When I spend money on books, I want them to be in pristine condition. Like when I buy them brand new, I mean. So the first couple of books I got are by Julie Ann Long. I have been obsessed with her Palace of Rogues series, and so I bought myself copies of the last 2 books that are out. So that is, let's see, I'm Only Wicked with You. This is book 3 of the series. This one came in a really good condition, so I'm fine. However, this next one, After Dark with the Duke, came kind of damaged. You're not gonna really be able to see it on camera, but there's scuff marks everywhere. Ooh, there's like scuff marks on the pages, like no. Ugh, okay, I'm gonna have to put that one aside. Next book I got is When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. Might return this one as well because it's like scuffed. I don't know. Ugh. I don't know, we'll see. That's so annoying. Okay, but I've been really excited about this book. It is a YA book. I believe it came out this year or maybe last year, and it's basically all about a friendship breakup, and I've been dying to read YA books about that topic because I feel like that's not a common topic that's discussed in YA novels all that much. You'll definitely see, or just books in general, it's definitely more common to read books about like a romantic relationship breakup, but I'm more intrigued about like friendship breakups and things like that. So then next up, oh, I'm excited about this one. This is Parachutes by Kelly Yang. I heard Ashley from Bookish Realm, I think, was the first booktuber that I heard talk about this book, and she has just raved and raved so much about Kelly Yang in general. But this book in particular, I believe this is Kelly Yang's only or first YA release. I believe she writes mostly middle grade. So I've heard that it's kind of like Gossip Girl, but it's also like a darker novel than the cover would lead you to believe, but it sounds amazing. So really excited about that. And then, oh, I'm so excited. I got Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. Oh, this is so cute. Look at the back cover. Oh, I'm so excited to have this in my personal library. This is easily one of the best romances that I read this year. It's a fantastic, sweet and sexy Christmas romance that takes place in New York City. What more could you ask for in a Christmas romance? Oh, so good. Then next up, oh, I'm really excited about this one too. This is The Perks of Loving a Wallflower by Erica Ridley. This is a sapphic historical romance that I've just heard nothing but phenomenal things about, and I love the color of like the back cover as well. Oh, this is just a beautiful cover and sounds so, so good. And then the last two books of this box, I'm gonna set this down on the ground. Next I got Grown by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I adore like everything that I've read by Tiffany D. Jackson. I didn't love White Smoke, which is her most recent release, but I did really enjoy it. But I loved Allegedly and Monday's Not Coming, and Grown is another YA mystery thriller that I've just heard nothing but phenomenal things about. And the last book in this box is They Went Left by Monica Hesse. This is a post-World War II YA historical fiction that I read back in January. I absolutely loved it, and I decided that I needed a physical copy for my personal library. This might end up being in my top books of 2021. I'm not quite sure yet because I haven't really planned out those videos yet, but I loved this book. It broke my heart, beautifully written, just a stunning story. All right, let's move on to the other box. I'm hoping that I don't have any more damaged books, but oh, sometimes Amazon, you know, you never know. Next, I got another Monica Hesse book. This is Girl in the Blue Coat. I have not read this one yet, but I loved They Went Left so much. This is actually Monica Hesse's more recent release. This one I think was written in like 2016. But yeah, I love that book so much that I had to get myself a physical copy of this one. And I also got a physical copy of another book by Monica Hesse. This is The War Outside, which this seems to be like an updated design of the cover. It's also like printed differently. Like I can tell that the paper is different, and like this actually kind of looks like an indie published book, the way that it was printed. That's not a bad thing, it's just like different. But yeah, Monica Hesse writes like World War II YA historical fiction, so I'm excited to get to these two, like I said, after reading and loving They Went Left. Let's see what else I have. Oh, I'm so excited about this one. This is Travis by Mia Sheridan. I only found out about this one recently, but this is essentially a spin-off novel to Archer's Voice, which is one of my favorite romances that I read in 2021. This is about the character Travis, who was maybe kind of sort of a villainous character in Archer's Voice, so I'm just very intrigued about this. And I believe this is book one in a new series by Mia Sheridan, so that just sounds amazing. Can't wait to get to that one. We have two books left. First up is Perfect on Paper by Sophie Gonzalez. This is a book that I read, was it last week or the week before, and I loved it so much. Easily one of the best YA books that I read this year, so I had to have a physical copy for my personal library. I really love this cover and the color. Like, this is just a fantastic YA novel. I talked about it in one of my recent reading vlogs if you want to know more of my thoughts about it. The last book that I got, oh no, it's damaged too. Oh no, and I was so excited about this one. This is Counting Down with You by Tashi Boyan. I just looked up how to pronounce this author's name, and I'm pretty sure that's how she pronounced it, is Boyan. But this is a fake dating YA romance, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. This is another 2021 release, but it's damaged. I'm gonna have to return it for another copy. Ugh, that makes me so sad when I get damaged books. But let me put this box down while I give you guys my reading update, and let me put some of these books over here. So the book that I started yesterday, and I did talk about a bit in last week's reading vlog, which I will of course link up in the cards above, that is King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. This is the dust jacket. I wanted to just hold the naked hardback because it's stunning. Literally one of the most beautiful hardbacks that I have ever encountered in my life. And so I did talk about the plot of this one a bit in last week's vlog, but just to kind of give you a reminder, this is book one in the King of Scars duology, which is a spin-off to the original Grisha trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. You may, if you haven't heard of the books, you may have heard of the Shadow and Bone series on Netflix. Then there's the Six of Crows duology, which is a spin-off of the Grisha trilogy, and then this is another spin-off to the Grisha trilogy. And so we have three major characters. We have Nikolai Lantsov, who is now the King of Ravka. And we are also following Nina Zenik, who was heavily featured in the Six of Crows duology, and Zoya Nazialensky, who was also heavily featured in the Grisha trilogy. And she is essentially a general of Nikolai's, kind of like his second in command. And Nina is also technically a soldier of Nikolai's, but she's off doing like some undercover mission, basically. And so, yeah, right now, I'm on page 299, that is chapter 19. That is just about 58% of the way through, I believe, according to Goodreads. And also, like I said in my last reading vlog, this does have a little bit of a slow start. Definitely like the first 50 pages or so, I was just kind of like, where are we going with this? Like, what's happening? I mean, we know the basic setup of that Ravka had undergone this terrible civil war in the Grisha trilogy, and so obviously Nikolai is trying to help the country recover from that. Beyond that, I had no clue where this book and where this duology was going to go plot-wise, and I have to say, by about like page 100, I would say I was really sucked into the story, and I've now read 200 more pages since last night, since my last update for that vlog, and I'm loving it. I would give it 5 stars if I had to give you a rating at the moment. I think the pacing is really great. I love the 3 major characters that we are following. Like Nikolai, Zoya, and Nina, in my opinion, are probably the 3 best characters in this world. Like, yes, Kaz and Inej and all the characters, especially in the Six of Crows duology, they are iconic characters and I would never discount them, but I think these 3 main characters are my personal 3 favorite characters of this series and of this world. So having a book and having a duology based around them, that is so exciting, and that is just everything to me. And this book is going to some crazy places, both literally and just plot-wise. Like, so many things are happening. I don't think I could have ever guessed where the plot has been going, especially right where I left off. Just things are insane right now. And I'm just so happy that I'm reading a YA fantasy again. I haven't read one of those in a while. I read one back in like September, but then other than that, I haven't really read that many YA fantasies this year because I went so far down the adult romance rabbit hole this year, which is not a bad thing at all. I've had a great time this year, but I have neglected YA fantasy, so I'm glad to be diving back into that subgenre with this series. And I did order myself a physical copy of Rule of Wolves, which is the second book of this duology that should be coming in tomorrow. So I will probably read that like right after I finish this, because I just want to see what happens next. Though I am a little bit scared about that second book because a lot of people have been disappointed by it, or they just like weren't a fan of the direction that Leigh Bardugo took that book or the characters or something. I don't know. I have not heard good things about that second book, so I'm a little scared, not gonna lie, but I'm also just really excited. I am just loving this. I think I might take a break from reading because I read like 200 pages of this today, which is a lot for a fantasy novel for my brain to comprehend. So I might go watch something on Netflix. And then I might read some more of this tonight, maybe like 50 more pages or so. I'll definitely finish this tomorrow because I am flying through it. And yeah, so I will talk to you guys tomorrow. everyone. It is Tuesday. I do not know what day of the week it is anymore. This always happens during the holiday. Is today Tuesday? Yes, today's Tuesday the 28th. As you saw from the clips earlier, I went on a walk at the park with my mom and Chloe. We had a fun time. Chloe was quite popular today because there were lots of kids at the park and they wanted to give her pets. But I mean, she's so cute, so who wouldn't be a fan of her, right? I just finished, as of like, what, maybe 10, maybe 15 minutes ago, I just finished King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo. Once again, this is the dust jacket, but this hardback is just so stunning. I will never get over it. I really loved this book and I'm really happy with the ending. I am really happy with what Leigh Bardugo has done with this book and with this story, this spin-off from the original Grisha trilogy, because I don't want to spoil anything, but what I will say is something that happened at the end of Ruin and Rising, which is the last book in the Grisha trilogy. I always felt like it was too good to be true. And I am so happy that Leigh Bardugo addressed it in this book, and I was right. It was too good to be true. Highly recommend this book. I think I'm gonna give it 5 stars. Yeah, I think it's a really fantastic start to this duology. Although I will say, this to me doesn't read like the first half or the first part of a duet or a duology. To me, it reads as the first part of a series, like a multi-book series. I just feel like there's so much that needs to happen for this series to wrap up. So I'm just very curious to see what is going to happen with the next book. What's interesting about this series and the Six of Crows duology in particular, I can't really remember with the Grisha trilogy because it's been so long since I read it. But these books, I feel like, toe the line between YA and new adult. I definitely think these are upper YA. There's a lot of dark subject matter that's being covered. Now, granted, this is not sexually explicit at all. There's nothing going on in that regard, but there is darker subject matter being covered, and I really enjoy that. I love upper YA, new adult fantasy, not romance. Fantasy, we're talking about fantasy. And yeah, I really love the topics that Bardugo tackles in these books, because they're important issues that we deal with in our own world, but set in a fantasy world, a world very different from our own. And I think she just does a fantastic job of that. I actually just got my physical copy in the mail and it's beautiful. Look at it. I don't know how well you can see, but the finish of the dust jacket is like a pearlescent matte finish and I'm obsessed. It is stunning. There's the spine, there's the back. This one is definitely longer than King of Scars because I think this one's almost 600. Yeah, it's almost 600 pages. Let's all look at the hardback. Oh, that is stunning. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, this color. You probably, it might look more brown on camera, but it's like a really dark plum burgundy shade. It matches like the color of the font on the dust jacket and like the inside cover. Oh, that is stunning. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about this book. I would die for Nikolai. He was a real person. I love him so much. I really hope there's gonna be like some romance in this book. Like, please, Leigh Bardugo, please give me some romance. Cause like there was like a little bit, but not really. Like you can't say that there's a romance really in this book, but like there's inklings of feelings between Nikolai and Zoya, and there's also feelings between Nina and a character that she was interacting with in her chapters, and I want there to be romance for these characters. I want them to find love. I need to finish annotating this book because I did order some tabs. I do annotate a lot of the fantasy books that I read, like all of Sarah J Maas's books I've annotated, and all of Leigh Bardugo's books that I've read I've annotated. So I need to go through and put tabs in. I'll just kind of quickly walk you through my system. Basically, the pink tabs I use for either romantic scenes or scenes that I just really love. Orange I use for like funny or cute scenes or lines or something like that. Yellow is for an exciting scene, like a battle scene. Green is for a shocking scene or a plot twist or something that just really surprised me. Blue is for important information or world building. Dark purple is just for a really great quote that I loved. And then purple is for plot points or where the plot changes. Yeah, I'm gonna go do that. I don't know, I probably should eat dinner first and then I'll finish annotating this, and then I don't really know what I want to read next. I'll probably read a romance novel because I definitely need something simpler than a fantasy novel to just kind of decompress. I don't know if I'm gonna start anything tonight though, just because I feel like when I read books that are epic like this, my brain needs time to decompress from them and to digest what I just read, because I will be honest, there's still some things in this book that I think for the most part I do understand, but I feel like I just kind of need to sit with it and sit with what happened. So yeah, that is going to be it for this update, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. It is once again Wednesday, my dudes. What to update about life-wise? I went on another walk today with my mom and Chloe, and that was fun. And last night I made the best decision that I've made in a long time, and I decided to rewatch Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which is a show on Netflix in case you don't know. This is easily one of my top 5 favorite shows of all time. Oh my God. And something I've realized about myself is that I enjoy chaotic media. I feel like that perfectly explains why I love this show so much and why I am so obsessed with Miss Jessica Kane. If you don't know who that is, she writes just really chaotic and crazy romance novellas, and I can't get enough of them. And so yeah, something about like the way my brain works and my personality, like I love chaos in things that I consume. Did that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, so I've just been having the time of my life. I binged like the first 7 episodes of season 1 between last night and today. So there's that. And then late last night, I jumped into Mr. Romance by Lisa Raven, I think is how this author's name is pronounced. And then I read the rest of it throughout today. So this is a novel that I found out about from Brie from In Love and Words, one of my favorite romance booktubers ever. She specifically reads like contemporary and paranormal, like monster romances, alien romances, things like that. So I get a ton of recommendations from her. And I believe she mentioned this book in her latest wrap-up video, and the premise immediately drew me in because we have Max. He basically just takes women of New York high society on these incredible dates, and he will become whatever character these women need him to be. In the synopsis it says, whether they want a dominating billionaire, bad boy with a heart of gold, hot geek, sexy biker, or best friend who loves them from afar, Max can make it all happen, but he's careful to keep his real identity a secret. Then we have our heroine, Eden. She is an investigative journalist, and so she finds out about Max and his service through a friend of hers, and so she is hell-bent on finding out who this guy really is and his deal. And so Eden is very cynical when it comes to romance and all things love related. She doesn't really believe that it's real. She thinks that Max is swindling these women out of their money. And so throughout this book, he kind of tries to prove her wrong, and along the way they fall in love with each other. And what I really loved about this is that clearly Max falls for Eden first, and he falls hard. And of course she's very resistant to him. She has so many emotional walls built up, and the way that he like chips away at those walls, it is so swoony and sexy. So good. I had to give this 5 stars. I thought the pacing was awesome. I really enjoy this author's writing style. It really meshes well with me and the kind of romance novels that I like to read. This really just served everything that I wanted from the premise and more. This is book 1 in a series. The sequel is out, but the 3rd book has not come out yet, and it was supposed to have come out this year, maybe even last year, so I'm a little worried that that 3rd book may never come out, but the sequel is out. So I will read that. I think it's called Professor Feelgood. I will probably read that soon because I loved this one so much. It's so good. I will say that there are like content warnings because both Max and Eden have, I guess, a lot of like family drama, you could say, and they both kind of have traumatic and tragic pasts having to do with family members. And I do want to point out that there is a part of this book where Eden's grandmother goes through a coma, so there's, you know, there's some heavy topics being covered in this book for sure, but wow, like this book was so freaking swoony. I got butterflies in my stomach. I don't always get butterflies when reading romance novels, but this one definitely delivered. I think that at some point tonight, I'm going to go ahead and jump into Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. This is a YA historical fiction. This won the National Book Award for Young Adult Literature for 2021, which is really exciting. This takes place in the 1950s during the Red Scare, centered around LGBTQ plus and Asian major characters, which is really exciting. And I believe that there's a romance in this as well. I adore this cover. Yeah, I've just heard nothing but phenomenal things. So I'll probably jump into this at some point tonight. I'm not sure when though, because I have some things that I need to do tonight. I desperately need to edit my 2021 bloopers and outtakes video. I will link that up in the cards above because that will be posted well before this vlog is. So I need to edit that. I still need to annotate my copy of King of Scars. I didn't get to that last night because of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And then I also really need to start planning out my end of the year content, meaning like my top 10 historical romances of the year, my top 10 contemporary romances of the year, and also my top 10 books of the year that are not adult romance. I'm doing just a bunch of different top 10 videos because I read mostly romance this year and I read over 400 books this year, so I am just giving myself permission to talk about more books than just like my top 10 overall, because I feel like that's like way too hard for me to narrow down to just 10. So yeah, that is gonna be it for now, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Hey y'all, happy Friday. I didn't feel the need to update yesterday because I was just kind of working my way through a book that I'm still working my way through, and there really just wasn't much going on yesterday, but I wanted to start off this update with some happy mail. I'm so excited. So my friend Genevieve on Instagram, I think her username is Bookish Gremlin. I'll link her Instagram down in the description below. I'll also link her Etsy shop down below because she sells some art prints. She's an artist, but she also sells these little book boxes that are like a blind date with a book. And I think she primarily does like maybe older school historical romances or just historical romances in general for these blind dates. So she offered to send me one, and I'm just so freaking excited because that is just an amazing idea, like a blind date with a book. So I'm just gonna go ahead and open this on camera. Oh, she sent some chocolates and some tea maybe. What else is in here? Maybe some hot chocolate. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you, Genevieve. Okay, so what else? Oh wow, she sent some, oh, she sent 2 books. Oh wow, okay, so this is what the package looks like. Oh, this is so sweet. Cute. This one says Dubious Marriage double feature. I love that. She sent this really adorable bookmark. I can always use more bookmarks because I've realized that I actually don't own that many. And then this is adorable. It's a build your own bookmark kit. and it looks like you get like a blank bookmark and then like all of these like fun stickers and things like that. Oh, Genevieve, this is so freaking cute. Thank you. Now I've got the 2 books, and they each, it's adorable how she has this package. She like has a little paper on both of them describing, I guess, like the vibe of the book and like when it was published, different things like that. So which one do I want to start with? I think I'll start with this one because purple is my favorite color, so I'm gonna save this one for last. But this one, it says current romance author, okay. Historical Regency, marriage in trouble. Oh, she did ask me like my favorite tropes and if I already own a lot of old school historical romances, which I don't. And I told her that my favorites, my favorite tropes in general, especially for historical romances, are marriage in trouble and marriage of convenience. So she gave me one of each, which is exciting. But this one, yeah, this one is more of a current historical romance. Yeah, it says current romance author, historical Regency, marriage in trouble. So you've been self-isolating for 3 years from your cheating dirtbag, but also hot husband? Maybe find a replacement wife for him and you can finally move on. Shouldn't be too hard. This has a step back. It was published in 2017 and has 400 pages. Blurb sounds really good, but I'm blanking on, like, I don't have a guess, honestly. I'm not really sure. But I am excited nonetheless. So let's get this one open. Oh, yay! This is The Day of the Duchess by Sarah McLean. Yeah, I've been meaning to read this one for a while because I've heard that this is like the ultimate historical romance, marriage in trouble story. So thank you so much, Genevieve. I'm obsessed. And then let's look at this other one. This one is much more of an old school one. It says, yeah, old school romance author, historical Regency, marriage of convenience. So you're an orphaned princess, your homeland is in turmoil, and you have a habit of being kidnapped. Well, I mean, maybe try marrying your bodyguard? I would. Gilded ornate cover, published in 1993, 384 pages. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess like, I kind of want to say Julie Garwood. For some reason. I'm probably wrong. Wait, I'm right. It's Julie Garwood. Oh my God. Oh, this is stunning. Are you kidding me? This is Castles by Julie Garwood. I love this style of covers that she had back in the day because her cover for The Secret looks very similar to this. Oh, I love it. Let's see, it says, orphaned and besieged, Princess Alessandra knew that only hasty marriage to an Englishman could protect her from the turmoil in her own land. To the amusement of her makeshift guardian, Colin, younger brother of the Marquis of Canewood, the bold raven-haired beauty instantly captivated London society. But when Alessandra was nearly abducted by her unscrupulous countrymen, the fighting instincts that won Colin a knighthood for valor were kindled. Deceiving himself that he wanted only to protect her, Colin swept her into a union meant to be a marriage in name alone. That sounds really great. I don't think I've actually heard of this one. Please go check out Genevieve's Etsy shop and Instagram and all those things. I've glanced at some of her artwork and I love her art style. I might have to like buy a couple of things because she does a lot of artwork for like romance novels and things like that. So finally, onto the reading update. So I have been working my way through last night at The Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I don't know why this feels like a difficult book for me to explain, but this is a YA novel set in 1954, primarily during the Red Scare in the United States. We have Lily, our main character. She is Chinese American. She's 17 years old as well. She's a senior in high school, and she's coming to realize that she may not be straight. And so there is this Telegraph Club that she gets introduced to by her friend Kath, who she's starting to have serious feelings for. So this is definitely like a coming of queer age story in the 1950s. This Telegraph Club is really cool, like the atmosphere of it. It's basically a gay club, but specifically for women. And there is this performer, Tommy, who is a male impersonator that Lily is kind of obsessed with, and she doesn't understand why really. Like, she's definitely trying to come to terms with who she is and her feelings and her sexual orientation and all those things. And her and her friend Kath, they are definitely falling for each other. I'm at like the 50% mark and I'm really enjoying this. I will say I read like 50 pages today so far, and the 50 pages that I read today weren't quite as captivating as the first like 35% that I read yesterday. I don't know if that's because I'm tired, to be quite honest. I'm about to go take a nap. It's just about like 2:45 p.m. by the way, on New Year's Eve. Yeah, I don't know if it's that I'm tired or I feel like the momentum of the story is kind of slowing down in the last 50 pages that I read. But I think the writing is beautiful. I've been underlining so many passages in this. I just think that Lily's journey is, it's beautiful. And I know it's gonna break my heart. It's YA historical fiction. This is not gonna have a happy ending, probably, most likely, and I will be devastated. I will definitely update you guys when I finish it. I'm definitely gonna finish it today. I'm on page 206. That is just about halfway through, and I definitely think I can finish this and finish out my 2021 reading year with this book. So yeah, I am gonna go take a nap because I have not been getting enough sleep lately, and that's totally on me. And then I also need to film at least like 2 or 3 videos today. I've been planning out my end of the year content, so like my best books and worst books of 2021 and things like that. So I need to start filming those videos and editing them. So yeah, I will just talk to you guys tomorrow. Happy Saturday. I keep thinking today is Sunday. I can never keep track of the days of the week when I am not working regularly. Okay, so happy Saturday, everybody. Happy New Year's Day. I sincerely hope that you all had a wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day so far. So why don't we just go ahead and jump into the reading update. I have 2 books to talk about. So last night I finished Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lo. I did end up giving this 5 stars. I think that it is a beautiful and stunning YA historical fiction novel that specifically explores the idea of Lily, our main character, living in the 1950s, being a teenager, and being a Chinese American and a lesbian, and how those things just could not coexist in those days. And yeah, I think the writing is absolutely stunning. I can't wait to see what Melinda Lo comes out with next. I can totally see why this won the National Book Award. I think that there are going to be so many readers out there that relate to this book more than I ever could. And I'm just so happy to see that books like this are being written nowadays. And I also really, really appreciated the author's note at the end, because Melinda Lo went into the historical context of like the Chinese languages that she used, Cantonese and Mandarin, for instance, because she uses phrases of those 2 dialects throughout. She talks about the 1950s in general. She also talks about San Francisco and how it sort of became this safe haven for the queer community. Also Chinatown and Chinese Americans and lesbians, gender, and community, specifically in the 1950s, because there is terminology used in this book that may be considered offensive by today's standards, but she kind of goes into that terminology and why it was used and all of those things. I also loved that, yes, this book does get really sad towards the end, but there is a hopeful and happy ending. Maybe not like the most happy ending ever, but there is hope for sure, and that blog was just really sweet. So yes, highly recommend, gave that 5 stars. So then today I decided to jump into 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, specifically because the audiobook for this that I borrowed from my Libby app is due in 3 days, so I need to read this now. And I am on page 183, that's chapter 17. That is just about like 57% of the way through. I'm definitely going to finish this tonight. This strikes the perfect balance of a literary fiction novel and a romance novel. You truly get the best of both of those genres, and I love both of those genres, so that's just really cool to see. But specifically, this is about our two main characters, Shane and Eva. They are both authors, which I love reading books about authors, and they're two very different authors because Eva writes erotica or erotic romances, specifically this paranormal romance series about a vampire and a witch, and it's like 15 books in at this point, and it's a very, very successful series. It has just been optioned for a film adaptation at the beginning of this book. And then we have Shane, who writes like more like hard-hitting literary fiction novels, and so this is a second chance romance. We do get glimpses into their past when they were about like 17 or 18 years old, I think, and they met when Eva moved to, I believe, Washington, DC, and so they met in high school. They fell in love pretty quickly and pretty hard for each other, and they ended up splitting up under not so great circumstances, and now it's like, how long has it been at this point? Like 15 years, I think. And now they are back in each other's lives, and the writing is beautiful. There's this one scene in particular where we find out that these two people have been writing about and to each other through their novels, because Eva, the hero of her vampire romance series, Sebastian, is definitely based off of Shane. And then Shane wrote this book about this little girl called 8, and that little girl is definitely based on Eva. And so there's this scene where they see each other for the first time in 15 years, and she tells him, "Stop writing about me," and then he smirks and he says, "You first." Like, that is just absolutely iconic. So I'm really, really, really enjoying this so far. I can definitely see myself giving this 5 stars, and this was just a great book to start off my 2022 reading year. So that's gonna be really it for this update. I'm actually getting ready to film 3 videos. Pray for me. I filmed 3 videos yesterday, and I'm gonna film 3 videos right now. I definitely think it's doable, but it's just a lot of work, and it takes a lot of brain power for me to do that. I don't usually film more than 2 videos at any given time, sometimes 1. So this is definitely not the norm for me. So yeah, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. All right, happy Sunday, everybody. Today has been a really weird day. I woke up really late, which is no surprise because I stayed up really late watching a movie. And it's like really windy and like eerily quiet outside. Like, I've only heard maybe 2 cars drive by my house all day, which is weird because my street is kind of a thoroughfare. Like, what is going on? I mean, maybe it's because all of the New Year's celebrations are over, and so everybody's just sitting at home. And I know that there is a Saints game, New Orleans Saints game on maybe right now. I don't know, I don't watch football. So I feel like everybody's just at home, and it's just like a weird vibe today. So I do have an Amazon package that I'm gonna open. So I did return my damaged copies of both After Dark with the Duke by Julie Ann Long and When You Were Everything by Ashley Woodfolk. I am planning on reading both of these really soon, and I'm just excited that I have new copies. And then I did also get a new copy of Counting Down With You by Tashi Bouyan. Really excited about reading this one soon as well. I already have it checked out on Hoopla, like the audiobook. And then I had to get myself a physical copy of We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. I read this at the very end of 2020, and it is just one of the best YA historical fiction books out there. It has to do with these 14 Japanese American teenagers. Takes place during World War II when Japanese Americans were being put in internment camps. And so it is just, it is a beautifully written book. It is heart-wrenching, will gut you, but it's just so stunning at the same time. Like, I low-key want to reread this really soon. There's the back cover as well. It's just, it's everything. There's a reason why, you know, it was the National Book Award finalist. Like, it's so good. So I'm gonna put this box down. I have a couple things to update you on. So, my reading year is not starting off great. I have started off 2022 with 2 3-star reads and I hate everything. I need to make sure that my next read is going to be a book that I'm going to give at least 4 stars. But so I finished 7 Days in June by Tia Williams. As you guys could tell from my last update, I was loving like the whole first half of this book. I loved the second chance romance. The writing was beautiful. The characters were so well developed. But I noticed in the second half, definitely by like the 70% mark, I would say, the pacing got really painfully slow and I was getting so bored. I started zoning out while listening to the audiobook. And there was also like the ending was weird because there was like, of course, this big conflict between Shane and Eva. And I felt like that was kind of dumb. Like, I hate when one of the main characters just like jumps to conclusions about the other main character. And it's just so stupid because what we know about Shane's character for most of this book is that he would never do what Eva immediately thinks that he did. And it's just so dumb to me. And then it's also weird too because the big conflict between the two of them is resolved, I would say, a good like 15 to 20 pages before the very end of the book. But for some reason, Eva still keeps Shane at arm's length until the very last page. And to me, that just didn't make sense. I didn't understand it. So that whole ending conflict annoyed me. However, like I do still recommend this. Like, I know so many people that loved this so much more than I did. And I do think it's a beautiful story. Like I said, I love that both main characters are authors. Like, there's just so many amazing ingredients in this book that just unfortunately didn't work out all that well for me. So I settled on giving this, I think, 3.5 stars. Yeah, I think 3.5 stars. And then late last night, I started Party Favors by Erin McClellan. This is book 4 in her So Over the Holidays novella series. And I finished it today and I gave it 3 stars. I'm so sad because I have loved the 2 other novellas that I've read from this series, and I'm planning on reading the Valentine's Day one in February. But this is a really sweet and sexy, low angst romance. And I really liked the setup of Ren and Amanda. They are like, they've been internet friends for the past like years, like 5 years or something. And then they finally meet in person around New Year's Eve at this resort. And like, I loved the setup of their romance. But the pacing was pretty slow a lot of the time. And definitely by the end, I was just very bored and I was so ready for it to be over. I definitely zoned out, especially in the last like 15% of this. So yeah, I gave it 3 stars. Like, so yeah, we are not starting off the year well. We are not ending this vlog well either. That makes me so sad that I didn't end this week with a good read, but I'm actually getting ready, in about 20 minutes actually, so I gotta get going. I am getting ready to co-host the Historical Hellions live show on Jess's channel. I think I already said this in a past update. That information will be linked down in the description below. I think it'll be a very, very interesting discussion. And so yeah, I'm getting ready to do that. And so that's gonna be it for my Vlogmas week 5 vlog. I probably will not be vlogging for a while. I also have a lot of end of 2021 content coming really soon. I think later this week, I'm gonna post my end of December wrap up. Then I'm gonna start posting my best of 2021 videos. I think that's it for this video. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this vlog and all of the vlogs that I've released in December. I would also love it if you would leave a like and subscribe, and I thank you so much in advance if you do, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!